I thought I'd just do a little tour of my studio space. Shoes off. In here I've got a project of family history stuff that I'll be working on at some point. A few archival things and inspirational books. Piles of notebooks, big bits of paper everywhere. That's some blog planning and a bit of Lucy and Flora. And then I've got things I want to read, mostly, in there, and some notebooks. Piles everywhere. Next year's calendar, love a bit of planning, bit of nice selection of pens. Those are piles of things I've written previously that might fit into the blog. And here I did a masterclass class taught by Neil Gaiman, mostly sitting in Glasgow Library. I did that actually. It was fab, and I kept a notebook. And then just some things that I've been reading. Oh, dog bed, portable studio, all set up. And this summer house is just such a treat. This is the view from the window, which is just absolutely gorgeous. The sea's behind us in the other window. Some things I've been reading. So to start with, this is all kind of reading around the story that I've been working on and being here in Cornwall as well for the brief time that we're here. So a couple of versions of Medusa, because Flora in my story has a magical ability, or she might do, not sure, but it's not new to tell that story, so I've gone back to some of the modern retellings of Medusa's story. This was just fantastic. It's an incredible journey into what we mean by landscape and how we've formed the concept of landscape, how it's formed us. Completely fascinating, absolutely brilliant. Made loads of notes reading this. Let's just finish this one. Beth Lynch's intense relationship with a very specific Cornish landscape, not exactly where we are, but not a million miles away. And that's just been fascinating, actually. It's autobiographical, it's very descriptive, but it sounds like it's going to be a story, I think, from the cover. But really interesting, both from a style point of view and a content aspect. And I preceded it with this one, The Granite Kingdom. This is written by a man who lives just down the road, or came from just down the road in Morva. It's about what it means to be Cornish and where Cornwall starts and ends, which in itself was really interesting, coming from across the border in Devon. But it was definitely the inspiration for my first blog post, Belonging, about where we come from and our relationship to physical landscape. Before that, I was reading some fairy tales. I love a bit of magic and a bit of myth, as you can see. But this is definitely in the very modern world, in a city environment, and how those old tales and those old beliefs might look in a modern landscape. Really interesting. It took me a bit of getting into, but I'm really glad I stuck with it because I think it's really clever. And this one was just gorgeous. This is a proof that bookshop I go to regularly passes on when they've read their proofs. It's just a gorgeous idea. It's a woman alone, a young man in search of his father, and an octopus, and the octopus is just so wonderful. And I read this pretty much in one day and then spent the whole evening in tears of nostalgia and sadness and joy, and just gorgeous. Loved it.